If your horse has a traumatic injury, a sprain, or is even stall-bound for extended periods of time, their legs may swell and become warm to the touch. This is due to inflammation and swelling, which can cause damage to the tissues and cause discomfort. Your veterinarian may prescribe a sweat bandage as an aid in reducing fluid buildup in the legs. The purpose of the sweat wrap is to generate heat, which will help dilate the vessels and increase blood flow to the area, adding pressure and providing support. The sweat wrap will help the body dissipate excess fluid from the injury site and reduce inflammation. I highly recommend consulting with your veterinarian before applying a sweat wrap. Supplies needed include DMSO, Furazone, Saran wrap, cotton wrap, polo wrap or vet wrap, nitrile gloves, and a brush and hoof pick. DMSO stands for dimethyl sulfoxide and is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. This compound helps reduce edema in swollen limbs. Furazone creates a moist environment for the sweat wrap and is an antibacterial for topical application in horses. Saran wrap is an important component of the sweat wrap. This helps hold heat within the horse's leg. You can purchase a generic brand of plastic wrap or use saran wrap. A cotton wrap is used for padding around the horse's leg. You can usually purchase these in a pack of 4 for around $20 at a local feed store. A polo wrap or vet wrap is used to hold the sweat wrap all together. For the purposes of this video, I will be using a polo wrap. If your horse tends to mess with a bandage on their leg, I suggest using vet wrap as it holds better than a polo wrap. Nitrile gloves are important to use to protect your hands from the Furazone and DMSO. It is also used to keep your hands clean during this process. I like to use a brush and hoof pick to ensure that the leg and the hoof are free of contaminants before applying the sweat wrap. Let's get started. Here I am approaching this horse at her shoulder, and with the brush I am working my way down from the upper limb to the lower limb, making sure that I get all sides of this horse's leg. Next, I'm going to take this hoof pick and I'm going to pick out this horse's foot to make sure that we get rid of any dirt and debris that may possibly get in this sweat wrap while this horse is walking around or moving. It's very important that we make sure that all components of this horse's leg are clean before applying the sweat wrap. Next, we're going to grab a pair of clean and fresh nitrile gloves. This is very important for protecting your hands and yourself from the Furazone DMSO solution that we are going to mix together for this sweat wrap. Here you can see I'm struggling a little bit to put on my gloves. We're going to take this Furazone and open up the container. Next, we're going to take the DMSO and we're going to add a little bit of this concentrate into this Furazone container. You tend to want a 50-50 mixture of Furazone to DMSO. After we have added it together, we're going to mix this so that the solution joins together properly. After we have mixed together this solution of DMSO and Furazone, making sure that we got 50-50 equal parts of each, we are going to apply this to this horse's leg. It is very important to make sure that we get all sides of this limb where we are going to put this sweat wrap. We also want to make sure that we're applying the solution evenly across this area. Here you can see the solution was applied properly. Next, we are going to grab a fresh and clean pair of nitrile gloves. This is important to making sure that your hands are protected and clean. More specifically, when we're putting on the bandages. You don't want to get your bandages dirty with the Furazone solution that you just had on your hand. Now, we're going to take saran wrap and we're going to wrap this around the horse's leg. This might be a little bit tricky because the saran wrap will fold over onto itself. I suggest cutting out a square long enough to wrap around the horse's leg beforehand, that way you're prepared. You also want to make sure that the saran wrap is applied evenly over the horse's leg. Next, we're going to take our cotton wrap and we're going to wrap this around the horse's leg. We also want to bring our polo with us or our vet wrap, that way we are prepared. Now, this is a left front leg, so we're going to wrap it in a counterclockwise direction. If this were a right front leg, we would wrap this in a clockwise direction. This helps ensure that pressure is applied evenly over this lower limb. We want to make sure that this cotton round is wrapped around and it is not too tight. Then we want to take this polo, and I prefer to start in the middle of the horse's leg and work my way down and then work my way back up. When I am applying this polo wrap, I am making sure that 50% of the wrap is applied over the top of itself. I'm also making sure that I'm applying even pressure throughout the horse's leg. This is very important to making sure that you're not cutting off this horse's circulation by making this wrap too tight. We want to make sure that we can place 2 fingers within the wrap after we are finished with it. Now, once we wrap all the way down to the bottom, we're going to go and wrap all the way back to the top. Now, this polo wrap has a Velcro, and once we're at the top, we're just going to Velcro it together. Here, I am checking to make sure that there's even pressure. The final step is taking off our gloves. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.